Hello everyone, this is William from Podcast 17, and I'm about to start playing Half-Life 1 in this Let's Play series. We're going to kick it off right now, and where this might not seem monumental to you, there's been hundreds and hundreds of Let's Plays out there, tons of people playing this game, I'm sure you've even played it. It's very monumental to me. Every time I click this play button, either Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2, Episode 1, Episode 2, Blue Shift, Opposing Force, it doesn't matter, I always get extremely excited because I'm about to start fresh a game that I really enjoy, a series that I absolutely love. This Let's Play, as you could tell from the hazard course that I've already recorded and you've probably already watched, maybe if you haven't, go ahead and watch it, is going to be me talking and dictating and narrating what's going on. If you want to watch a silent Let's Play, go somewhere else. You're not going to find it here, or just play the game. You can play it yourself. If you haven't played it, then do it. You shouldn't be watching silent Let's Plays, they're boring. So, there's going to be a little bit of precursor before I click play. Firstly, I'm going to be playing the game on easy. And that's not because I suck at it. I'm actually pretty good at Half-Life 1. I'm terrible at Half-Life 2. I'm pretty good at this one, though. But it's because I want to give myself a lot of chance to tell you guys what I think, give you some trivia, give you some behind-the-scenes look on some of the game development, some of my own insights, some things that I've gathered through my research. And the best way to do that is to keep the game on easy, and make sure that you know, I don't die while I'm talking to you guys. The second thing is, for this bit, I promised you guys that I wasn't going to make it boring. I wasn't going to make the tram sequence boring, because it's often criticized as being one of the most boring bits of Half-Life, next to the other tram sequence. So in this section, I'm going to start by providing you with some insight on the roles of the developers of Half-Life, as featured in the opening credits. Most of this information was taken from the Half-Life wiki, the Valve software website, and some LinkedIn profiles, actually, that I found. So Valve is notorious for featuring their game development team as just like a list of names in alphabetical order. Gabe has said in interviews numerous times that Valve is like a living, breathing team. No one person can take credit for like the entire Half-Life series, which is a really powerful statement. So instead of prioritizing names or assigning titles to them, they just simply display them, almost as an afterthought. I personally really respect this decision, but I also think it's important to sort of look at what some of these people did, because right now they're just posed as static names, and it's cool to sort of say like, oh hey, what did Mark Laidlaw do? I kind of want to know more about him. So that's what I'll be doing in the opening sequences. Just give you a short little it's not a paragraph, a sentence on who they are, and the names go by so fast that it's going to be really hard for me to do. Hopefully I can do it in one take, but like, I'm just going to stand there with the camera facing forward on the tram and read off my list. I got like a list here. I've already rewritten it. So I'll also mention whether these people are still with Valve. You'll note that there are 30 people credited in the opening sequence in the development of Half-Life, and 14 of them are no longer part of the Valve team. That's almost like a loss of 50% of the original team who developed Half-Life. The big names are still part of the team, and I'm using big in air quotes. They're around, but it gives you a sense of like how much the company has changed over time, and how possibly and alarming the development strategies might have changed because of it. The opening tram, for me, it signifies a lot in Half-Life 1. It's commonly signified as the start of a long journey. The tram is long, Gordon Freeman's journey is long, you see the tram in Half-Life 2 as well, which we'll get to in that Let's Play. But it's often criticized for being too long. For me, the tram reflects how monumental Half-Life is, and was in the late 90s. The tram ride sort of gives the player an idea on how much time this game will be. It gives you an idea of how massive the environment is you'll be traversing through, and really gives you an impression on how dynamic and functional and sometimes hazardous the environment can be. You witness areas of laboratory significance, storage significance, power generation. You even get to see a helipad somewhere in the middle of the tram sequence. Black Mesa immediately becomes its own world, and you as a player are just scratching the surface. Because later on, you'll revisit a lot of these outlined areas during the tram sequence. So as a player, in the 90s. You gotta picture yourself in the 90s, where you had games like Doom and Quake, and I mean, Sin was out, which was pretty dynamic. But like right now, the player is really getting hopeful and excited for this game because they're seeing this world unfold around them. At least that's how it was for me, way back when. So having the tram on rails is a really interesting feature as well. It puts the player into a sense that they're like entering the bowels of hell. You know, like, have you ever been on a haunted house ride where like the cart is slowly creeping towards the entrance? There's no turning back, and you're in for a world of hurt once you pass that threshold. The tram does this. It restricts our movement. It gives you a feeling of impending doom. Even though at first, you know, everything seems happy and safe, you're still restricted. And, I mean, of course it's a video game. We're looking at Gordon there with a shotgun in the opening splash screen, which wasn't the original opening splash screen, by the way. But, I mean, you knew that it was an action game, right? So it gives you this sense of impending doom. And plenty of the tram areas, actually, are revisited in both Blue Shift and Opposing Force. So, with all that said, I think it's about time to click the play button and get this show on the road. Like I said, the first half of the tram ride is just going to be me going through the developers, if I can do this quick enough. I really hope I can in one take. If not, I'll I might like pause it, like hit escape and go over some of them if I fall behind. There's loading sequences though, so it might give me time to catch up. Here we go, let's try it. I'm really excited right now, though. So there it is, Half-Life. It's a sprite, by the way. You can find it in the sprite files. And up there is Barney Calhoun from Blue Shift, of course, trying to get inside the room. And the first name coming up should be Ted Backman. Here it is, where it is. Ted Backman. Okay, so Ted Backman was the original concept artist of Half-Life 1. TK Backman was the developer and architect for Valve, no longer with Valve. Kelly Bailey was the sound artist, composer, no longer with Valve. Jan Berner was the programmer with Valve. Ken Birdwell was the animator and acting systems. Steve Bond was the AI and monster and entity behaviors. Dario Castelli was the level design. John Cook was the online platform development, part of the original Team Fortress team. And loading, okay. Doing good so far. Where's the next name? I'm ready for it. This is almost like a game now. Okay, Greg Coomer. Where's Greg Coomer? User Interface Divine. Wes Cumberland. Core Game Systems and Debugging, no longer with Valve. John Guthrie. Level Design, buddies with Steve Bond. Mona Letha Guthrie. Office Manager, I'm not sure. Mike Harrington, co-founder of Valve Software, no longer with Valve. Monica Harrington, Marketing Officer, no longer with Valve. Brent Johnson, Music and Level Designer, no longer with Valve. Chuck Jones, Illustrator and Concept Artist, no longer with Valve. Mark Laidlaw, Writer at Valve Software. Karen Luren, Texture Artist, no longer with Valve. Randy Lundeen, Programmer and Level Designer. And loading sequence. Okay. Here we go. There's more. Where's the next name? Okay, Yahtzee Mark, Texture Artist, no longer with Valve. Lisa Manette, don't know, no longer with Valve. Gabe Newell, of course, founder of Valve Software and Program Management. Dave Ryler, Level Designer. Aaron Stockpole, Network Administrator, no longer at Valve. Jay Stelly, 3D Engine Designer. Harry Teasley, Artist and Designer, no longer at Valve. Steve Theodore, Modeler, no longer at Valve. Bill Van Buren, Art, Design, Project Management, and Animation. Robin Walker, co-director of the original Team Fortress, Design, Code, and Management. And Douglas R. Wood, Animation. Oh my god, I think I did that. Okay, so now I can take over, and I think there's a loading screen coming up. So, I also wanted to say something about the announcer. You can hear her right now sort of giving you status on Black Mesa, further emphasizing that Black Mesa is sort of like a living, breathing machine, but it's really the only time we have a personable announcer. Throughout the rest of the Half-Life series, you have that like very static, I am robot announcer, and yeah, this is the only time we get to see an announcer that's really voice acted, and I mean, of course, you see it later on in Half-Life 2 with Breen. He sort of announces you throughout the environments, and then in Portal with GLaDOS. But in the rest of the Half-Life series, it's just what's called the VOX. So here we go. We get an idea of who Gordon Freeman is. He's male, age 27. He's a PhD, MIT Theoretical Physics. Before this game came out, everybody was grunts and marines and people with huge muscles and burly stuff, very manly. But now we're playing as a scientist. What can a scientist do? Can he shoot guns? I don't know. That's kind of weird. Is he wearing a lab coat? Anyway, So administrative sponsor, Classified. That's, of course, the G-Man, or maybe somebody else. Don't know. This area right here, you get to visit in Opposing Force. So you can check that out in the Opposing Force Let's Play. But yeah, the whole thing about Gordon Freeman is that he's one of us. We're nerds, we're geeks, we play video games. Maybe Gordon Freeman has played a few video games in his life. And yeah, we can relate. That's the real big thing, we can relate. In fact, when they were designing the facial features of Gordon Freeman, they took a mix mash of all the developers at Valve. A lot of people say that he looks... Oh, who's the guy that he really looks like? Maybe Ted, actually. Ted Backman? Maybe he really looks like Ted Backman. But yeah, they sort of composited... Composited? Is that a word? Anyway, they composed all the faces into one and created Gordon Freeman. There is the first sighting of the G-Man. Hello, G-Man. Why don't you fix your tie? There you go. Cool. And yeah, so here you get a chance to see how destructive Black Mesa can be. And ironically, they're talking about radiation on the voiceover speaker, so there's some comedy to that. And here we are, approaching Sector C test labs. And of course, that sign that Barney is going to come up and let us out. So I'm going to save here, and we're going to stop the capture here. We can continue on in the next episode, and we'll start sort of walking through Black Mesa. But I hope you enjoyed this opening sequence, of course, with Tram Ride. I apologize if I got way too excited, but hopefully it gives you an idea of who everybody was, some of my thoughts on the tram ride, and see, it wasn't boring. It went by really fast. So tune in next time, and we'll go through Black Mesa right before the Resonance Cascade. So thank you for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.